Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, September 18th. I'm John Weigell with Juliet, Bennett, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Forget the startup grind. Today, millennials are ditching corporate America now to buy existing businesses instead, with BizBuySell facilitating 9,500 transactions worth $2.7 billion last year alone, from $100,000 vending machine routes to a $2.85 million haunted forest in New Jersey. There's apparently a marketplace for every entrepreneurial dream you never knew you had. We'll get into that and the biggest headlines in business and tech right after this. Starting off today, the Trump administration wants the Securities and Exchange Commission to stop requiring companies to report earnings quarterly, seeking semi-annual updates instead, saying it'll save money and time. No word yet from the SEC, but an update every 6 months might be looming. Next, Paul English, co-founder of travel booking pioneer Kayak, has a new tool on the market. It's called SuperCal, a scheduling platform that does pretty much everything that Calendly does, except it is fully free to use. Naturally, the tool for coordinating schedules and booking meetings isn't a wholly altruistic act, but the undercutting basically the same thing but free makes for a strong opening statement for the app. Next, as other podcast studios grapple with quality versus quantity, Inception Point AI unabashedly favors quantity. The AI-led studio produces over 3,000 shows per week across 5,000 shows in its network, even more than that, all fronted by AI talent. Though its CEO, Janine Wright, insists any dings on the network's quality aren't fair. Inception Point AI has hit 10 million total downloads, and its episodes cost $1 or less to produce. I guess the AI podcast revolution is here. We got to look out. And next over here, the buyer of Fyre Festival has been revealed, and it is shockingly LimeWire, which paid $245,000 and outbid Ryan Reynolds for the right to Billy McFarland's Fyre Fest disaster. Juliet, can you tell me a little bit about LimeWire acquiring Fyre Fest?
Yeah, this is a real interesting one because, when you think about LimeWire, I think most people who are old enough to remember LimeWire, it's like the place where you downloaded a bunch of free music that you probably weren't supposed to.
Of course.
Instead of going to, I don't know, what would you do legally at that time? Go to Best Buy and buy a CD?
Probably iTunes.
Oh, iTunes, yeah.
I buy from iTunes at the time, some Best Buy. Yeah, well, one of those places. But yeah, I did download one or two things from LimeWire, which was always a Linkin Park song that ended up just being like fart sounds. So, you get what you get on there.
Those were the time. I actually, for a long time, thought Pantera and the Smiths were the same band because of LimeWire.
Incredible.
Because somebody was like, download the song Cemetery Gates, and I did. And I was like, oh yeah, this is slap. So I was thinking the Smiths were a metal band because I'm like a little kid. And then someone played another Smiths song for me. I'm like, this doesn't sound at all like Cemetery Gates.
Damn, they must have been in their soft era at that point.
Yeah, turns out I had downloaded the Pantera song and was very confused about everybody talking about Morrissey. For like a year, I thought Pantera was Morrissey because I was a child downloading things on LimeWire.
Yes, of course.
Anyhow, LimeWire obviously got into some trouble due to the whole copyright infringement, the same as Napster, where it's like, hey, you can't just download free music. What are you doing, kids? I mean, even though it did take 6 hours to download one song at the time, it was still not chill. So LimeWire actually shut down and then was brought back by two brothers, Julian and Paul Hetmeyer, if I'm saying that correctly. And apparently it's now a crypto market, which I must admit does not excite me in the least.
I'm not surprised either about that.
And what is interesting to me about this particular purchase is that they said they're not doing a Fyre Festival. That's not happening.
Right.
What Julian said was, we're bringing the brand and the meme to life, this time with real experiences and without the cheese sandwiches. I think famously we all saw the pictures of the very sad cheese sandwiches that they were serving people at what was supposed to be a luxury festival experience with, curated chef meals, whatever. So my question is, if it's not a festival, then what are these real life experiences? It sounds like it's kind of just like weird tech bro meme humor. Maybe it would be cool in the style of some of the things that Mischief does. Maybe it's going to be really stupid. I kind of think Ryan Reynolds would have done a better job, but I will reserve judgment until we see what they do with this.
Yeah, I really enjoy that Ryan Reynolds was a bidder. This seems right up his alley. But
Yeah.
it also seems right up LimeWire's alley, funnily enough. So either way, I want to see what happens with this.
Yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds just has a very good track record for everything he does.
Yeah.
Maybe not some of his early movies, but definitely as an entrepreneur and in his Deadpool era, I feel like anything he touches, any business that he starts working with, he does a great job with marketing and advertising and getting a lot of positive buzz and really bringing things around. So I think, I could see him doing a great job, but I'm also very curious to know what LimeWire, say, crypto meme marketplace is going to do.
Yeah, fascinated. I'm sure a Fyre coin will be around very soon.
Oh, for sure. And it can't be worse than what Billy McFarland did with it. So
can't possibly be worse. The bar's already that low.
Bar's low.
Yeah. And finally here, Ben & Jerry's co-founder, Jerry Greenfield, is quitting the company after 47 years, citing disagreements with parent company Unilever, which acquired the ice cream brand in 2000. Ben & Jerry's has long been outspoken about social issues, which Unilever initially agreed to allow, but Greenfield now claims that Ben & Jerry's has been silenced by their parent company. Okay, so for more stuff like that, you can subscribe to the show and we'll have more headlines for you tomorrow. But in the meantime, Juliet, we are talking about small businesses and people seemingly buying a lot of small businesses nowadays.
Yeah, I kind of love this, to be totally honest. I think this is a really fun thing that's happening. So when you think about a startup, you think about, I'm going to be the next OpenAI, I'm going to be the next Uber, I'm going to be the next Airbnb. You're probably not, unfortunately. That's probably not going to happen for you.
Yeah, probably not.
It might, though. And I'm not saying that to discourage you. But if you're like, listen, I don't need to be the next Uber. I'm just looking for like a cool, sustainable, stable source of income. A lot of people are buying small businesses that are ready to go. So I'm going to be totally honest with you. I saw a Forbes headline that said I could buy a haunted forest. And I was like, well, sold.
Immediate click.
I want a haunted forest. Who doesn't? That turned out to be a haunted attraction in New Jersey that is actually pretty expensive. It would cost me $2.8 million. So
Wow,
I'm going to pass on that.
Yeah. Don't think that's going to happen.
But the story was actually about this trend. Apparently there was a book that came out called Buy Then Build by Walker DeBill in 2018. And since then there's been this trend of people being like, I want to be my own boss, but I'm not ready to start a full-on business. Where can I acquire a small business? And apparently the largest online marketplace where you can find a business to buy is this platform called Biz Buy Sell. It oversaw 9.5 thousand transactions in 2024, earning it $2.7 billion in revenue from listing fees. So not a small situation here. And I looked at it because, of course I did, because I was looking for more haunted forests. And there is just everything on there. Like there's a lot of small businesses that you would anticipate being on a marketplace like this. I'm talking restaurants, cafes, dry cleaners, laundromats, car washes, pretty much anything you can imagine that the characters in Breaking Bad could have bought to launder Walter's drug money is on there. Vending machines. I don't know if you're a longtime Hustle reader, you maybe have read the pieces we've done on the vending machine empires that some people have. That can be very lucrative. Spas, salons, gyms, all sorts of things you can buy on here. But what was super interesting was there's all these niche businesses where, you think about a cafe or a restaurant. Those are kind of hard to sustain in a big city because you have a lot of competitors, you have a lot of rivals, your overheads compared to your margins. There's all these things to think about. But some of the most interesting businesses were just things you wouldn't even necessarily think about unless you had a reason to think about them. So in the New York Times, they were highlighting a lot of businesses that people bought that were kind of boring unless you get really into the minutia of it. There was a manufacturer of machines that clean other machines that a couple bought.
Insane.
There was a garage and gate door controller business. You probably don't think much about who makes your garage or gate controller, but there is, of course, a company for that. There's someone who bought kind of like a landscaping company, but it was for indoor plants, an indoor plant and maintenance company. So when you think about offices or hospitals or anywhere where they might have indoor plants, that's what this company does. And there are just a ton of those. So in terms of like who is getting in on this and who's buying and who's selling, apparently about 51% of privately owned businesses in the United States are held by people who are older and they're looking to retire. So they want to offload these businesses.
Makes sense.
And they want to go do something else with their lives. But millennials, a lot of millennials are like, I'm tired of corporate America. I want to be my own boss, but I don't have, the capital or the connections or the
to
whatever.
Fully start something, right?
Right. So I want to move into something that's already established, already stable, already has customers, cash flow, et cetera. So they're looking to buy these businesses. And essentially the process is they find something they're interested in that they want to buy. You have to do your due diligence. You have to look at financial records. You have to see if this is something you could do, something you are interested in, what the hurdles would be. And then there are all sorts of avenues that you can pursue to help you do this, such as small business loans. And so that is what is happening here. It's a lot of millennials being like, I'm ready to be my own boss. I'm ready to have my own business. And then a lot of boomers offloading them to other people. And a lot of these places already have a customer base, a location. They're ready to go, which is super interesting. And some of them are not that expensive.
Yeah.
The Haunted Forest was $2.8 million.
Yeah, that's definitely the high end of things, I'm assuming.
Pretty high. And, a lot of that, to be fair, is that it's a lot of land, this Haunted Forest. There is a trail that goes through it, but it's like 20 acres of forest. And you could ostensibly use that for more than a Halloween attraction. So I think there's a lot of potential there. Like maybe you also do a Christmas thing. Maybe you have something it is in New Jersey, so you're going to have to deal with winter. But there's potential there. Okay. For anyone who has $2.8 million and buys this Haunted Forest, I would love to know what you do with it. But a lot of businesses that I was looking at were under $100,000.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I actually just pulled it up right now, the Biz Buy Sell website. I think it's operated firstly by apartments.com because it looks very similar for some reason.
That's so funny.
But yeah, you could find like in New York City over here, you could buy a toy vending machine for $30K that makes $54K a year or something. Or you can buy an eyewear store that's at $95K. So it's some pretty interesting opportunities actually over here.
Some of the restaurants, cafes, and retail spots were so cheap in Los Angeles that I live in them because they are cheaper than a home.
Wow.
Can I buy a home for $100,000?
No, you cannot. But you could buy a business for $100,000.
But I could live in this cafe.
Maybe a deli or a cafe, bodega.
I just got to put a shower in. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And maybe a bed. But other than that, you're good.
I just live in it like the Phantom of the Opera.
That's right. That's right. You live in the playhouse. But yeah, I think this is a really great trend because, there are all of these kind of antiquated businesses that have been making money for a very long time because a lot of them are essentials like a laundromat and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it makes a lot of sense that the boomers that own these businesses would want to offload them because retirement's getting close. And it definitely makes sense for people our age or like millennials, even Gen Zers to purchase them because, as you mentioned, the startup costs are very, very high nowadays to create your own business, pay rent, get a building, do whatever you got to do. Mm-hmm. So now you're not starting from go necessarily. You're starting a few steps ahead of everybody else already.
Yeah. And it just seems kind of fun. Even if you're not ready to buy a business right now, I think you should look at the website.
Just look at it.
There's so much interesting stuff.
It scratches the Zillow itch of yes.
Right? And there's stuff you never even think about. Like, I've never thought about a company that makes a machine to clean another machine.
Yeah, right. Never would have thought about this.
I've never spent time pondering this.
Never would have thought about this. Exactly.
So lots of things you could discover while listlessly scrolling this website. Instead of doom scrolling, perhaps look for Haunted Forest to buy. I'm just, it's fun.
There you go. Yeah. Business scrolling instead.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get signed up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll see you tomorrow.
Here's what blows my mind. Most people are sitting around waiting for their boss to give them a raise while millionaires are building income streams in their spare time. Entrepreneur and creator Marina Magilko cracked the code on this. She built more than 10 income streams that now pull in over $100,000 a month. She shared the secret sauce with our team, so now we're sharing it with you, exactly how she did it. This guide gives you practical step-by-step strategies you can actually implement. So just pick just one income stream from her guide and watch what happens. Stop what you're doing right now and grab it in the show notes 6 months from now, and you'll be glad you did.